Nice and big.
Everyone, and welcome to another Nuffinbutfishing. Something a bit different this time. I was contacted a few months ago by someone that I've known online in the fishing world for probably coming up 10 years. First came across him on a forum called Carp.com, and he's followed my vlogs and videos since day one when I was about 12 or 13. And he contacted me. He wanted to get some shots of his lake from the air, so that he can show where some underwater air bleachers are, which is pretty cool. So I'm merging onto the motorway whilst talking here. And the other thing is, it's 3.5 hours away. It's in Shropshire. Hour and a bit into the drive, but I've just had to stop because of my tiny bladder. But we're back on the motorway now, and it's saying that we've still got just over 2 hours left. So by the time I get there, I'm going straight to the pub, have a few pints and a meal, and get fishing tomorrow. So I'm going to crack on with the journey. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'm certainly looking forward to this session, and I'll see you there. Well, it looks like we are nearly here. Pretty smooth run. Some pretty horrendous rain on the motorway at one point. You can barely see in front of you, but we got through it and we didn't die, so that's always a plus point on a journey. Hopefully we're going to get a few pints, a bit of food, I'm starving, and just have a good evening. Morning, Bobby. Morning. Here we are, all set up finally in the swim. Got all 3 rods out, shelter's all done. And the sun's trying to come through. We've got a bit of a chilly wind pushing into us, but it's supposed to swing round later on. Not going to be anything strong, but it'd be nice to be pushing that way because it is a little bit chilly. There's some absolutely stunning fish in here. Last night, me and Nigel went to the pub, had a meal, and had a few drinks. Went back and he showed me a load of pictures on his phone from fishing this place, and there's some absolute belters. So the chance of catching one is quite slim because it's a new place, and it's not something I'm used to. It's just about 20 foot out there. Feeling the lead down is down and down and down, but rigs I'm confident in, bait I'm confident on, and we'll see. And as I was setting up, I had a shout from next door, and Nigel actually had one, so I'm going to quickly show you that. It was an absolutely beautiful fish.
Right, I'm Nige. I've invited Joe down to the lake that I bailiff on. We need some filming done, and as we got the rods out, a couple of zigs out, 10 minutes later, a nice 20-pound mibber nestling down here. So thank you, Joe, for coming down, mate, and hopefully we'll get you a couple of these. Yeah, get you a couple up there. It's lovely. It's a typical what they look like in here, nice and dark. Hard fighting, long fish, big tails, and they don't give themselves up easily, but obviously this one wanted a bit of a zig.
Well, it may look like I've just come for a session, but the main reason I was brought up here was because on this lake, Nige just got a few bubblers under the water which you can't see. Obviously when they're on you can see where they are, but unless they're on you don't know where they are. So the idea is I'm going to take the drone up, fly around, map out the lake and show where the bubblers are once they're on, just making sure that all the members that are on here can see where the bubblers are. So although fishing is enjoyable, this is the main reason I'm here. So let's get it up and do what we've got to do. Well, it's now 10 to 5 and we haven't had any other action since Nige had his first one really early on. The lake has been completely dead, to be honest. When we first got it this morning there was quite a few fish showing, and talking to Nige he said that this place does tend to show quite a lot in the morning and into the evening, and throughout the day can be a bit quiet, and it certainly has been the case today. I've made a couple of changes since you last saw me. I've taken my woolly hat off and put this on, and taken my reading glasses off and put my sunglasses on, and that's purely because it's a lot warmer, the sun's out as you can see, and it's been an absolutely glorious afternoon. Really warm actually. It's a bit cooler in the shade, but I had a little walk around earlier, did some filming, just taking as much of the lake in as possible while I'm here. And on the far bank, oh actually looking around, the fish is just shown there. On the far bank where it's got the sun completely, it was several degrees warmer than it is here. Really warm. And sure enough, some of the fish are showing on the top. I've probably said in previous videos, I'm not a big fan of zigs, purely because I don't have much confidence in them. I'm sure that if I started catching on them, I'd use them more. Nige had his on a zig earlier, but I didn't bring any zig stuff with me, didn't even come prepared. Bit of a oversight really, but I think I'm going to have to do a session sometime this spring, summer on zig fishing, and get my confidence up in them, because it is something that I need to start using, because they are effective when the conditions are like they are. The first bit of warm weather in spring, the fish come up in the surface layers and enjoy a bit of the sun, but aren't quite confident enough to feed on the surface often. So it would have been the plan of attack if I was confident in it. But yeah, as I said, it's just coming up 5 o'clock, so we got a couple more hours of daylight, probably about 3 hours light really. I'm going to start thinking about recasting, getting fresh baits on, and then really tight baiting approach on the left rods. I think I'm going to put the left two quite close together, just out in mid-water, and bait up quite heavily over one rod and have the other one just off the baited patch, just so I've got quite a bit of attraction in an area, but the one rod that's just off the attracted area may pick up a fish that's just mooching around. And then the right one, which is down in the right margin, is going to stay down there for tonight, because a few fish were showing there this morning. So if they get back in there this evening and tonight and maybe tomorrow morning, that could produce a bite. As of any new lake, I'm not going to have enough time here to get to know all the ins and outs of how the fish feed, so I'm just going to optimise my chances, go on what I've seen already, and obviously get as much information from Nige as possible. But even if we do blank, or if I blank, I'm not going to complain. Came up here purely for work, sort of filming as the priority, and fishing was just a bonus. So a fish would be lovely, but if not, I'm not going to complain. cheers. Well, it's probably coming up about 7 o'clock now. I've just got all 3 rods redone, and I'm pretty happy with them. So I've got the left 2 rods, probably a couple of rod lengths apart, and put bait over them. One of them is just a washed out pink pop-up, and the other one is a wafter. 2 different baits, but I'm going for quite a heavy-ish bait approach. And then the middle rod, which is the right one of the 2 that are out there, is slightly off the baited patch. So if any fish come in to feed, then hopefully they'll take the left rod, but if they are just going around the outside of the area, then hopefully they'll pick up the middle rod, which is the pop-up. And then the right rod I've just put down in the right margin, same as before, again with a few baits around it, some chops as well. So baits are all set, the mozzies are coming out. As you can see, I'm trying to swat them away, which is a futile attempt. Got some food on, another cold one from the margin. The water's still pretty cold actually, because this lake goes down to about 20 foot deep. Oh, fish just topped on my left spot. It's only a little one. That's exactly where I baited up, which is a good sign. It goes down to about 20 foot where I'm fishing, so it is quite a lot of water to try and heat up with the few warm days we've had. Some of the smaller lakes in local to me have warmed up and picked up, but this place, you feel the water is still very cold. So it's going to be a bit longer until this place fully wakes up. But having said that, I'm happy with how we've put the baits out, and the presentation I think is all spot on. So it's just a waiting game now. I've thoroughly enjoyed this session. It's such a nice looking lake. I'd love to see this place in the summer as well. But yeah, let's get some grub on and enjoy the rest of the evening. Alright, yes, they're Crocs and socks. Before you give me hate in the comments, they're quite practical, but they are quite hideous. Well, the session is drawing to an end. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I've thoroughly enjoyed my session. Despite blanking myself, I've just simply enjoyed being here. With this as my backdrop, you can't complain. I can't disclose where it is before people ask. It is a private syndicate, and I was invited down here to do some work for Nige with the drone. So fishing was just a bonus, so I feel quite privileged to have fished here. Some big names have fished here actually, and even just before I go, there is someone doing a feature here for Carpology, I believe, for CC Moore. So letting me film on the bank is quite privileged. Didn't manage to get one of the fish, but maybe one day we'll be back to get one. Just got some food on in the bivvy, and then I'm going to start packing down. I got just over a 3-hour journey back on the motorway, and pretty tired, so I've got to schedule in some stops. I want to be home before dark. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed this video. Please like the video if you did, subscribe to me if you haven't already, and find me on Instagram and sorry, I'm so tired. Find me on Instagram and Facebook at Nuffinbutfishing. I'm going to start packing down now, but I'll see you on the bank next time. Cheers guys.